Okay, if you're asking yourself, how do I get Isaac Sim running on an EC2 instance? This is the video for you. Let's jump right in. Okay, so this is the roadmap for the video. We're going to start up with our EC2 setup, and we're going to use a G4DN2 extra large. And we are going to use this AMI from NVIDIA. And then once that's set up, we will install Amazon DCV as our remote desktop, and we will access it via our browser. And then lastly, for Isaac Sim, we will do a system requirements check, which obviously will pass because these are the right specifications that we need. And we will install Isaac Sim, and then we will launch it. Okay, let's get going. So here we are in our EC2 console, and let's go to instances. And I am going to change this to Africa, Cape Town, because that's where I'm going to get my best latency. And let us go and launch an instance. And I'm going to call it Isaac Sim 1. And let's search for NVIDIA for our AMIs. And we see we have got 6 AMIs. It's actually the top one, but in case the order is changed, we want, actually no, sorry, I'm getting a different order than the last time I did it. So we want Deep Learning OSS, and we want Ubuntu. Okay, it's the 4th one. So we want Deep Learning base OSS, and we want Ubuntu, but we don't have to worry about the TensorFlow and PyTorch, and we don't want Amazon Linux. So Deep Learning base OSS NVIDIA driver GPU AMI, yeah, that's the one, and we want to keep it as the x86. All right, and let us look at our instance type. So it's G4DN. And the X large is not going to do the trick. We need the 2 extra large. All right. And as far as a key pair, I am just going to set up a key pair quickly. So create new key pair. And let's call it, all right, create key pair. And it's downloaded that. Okay, I've downloaded the .pem file, and the first thing I need to do is move it from my downloads folder to my .ssh folder. And let's just make this a little bit bigger. All right, so that's the command to do that. And the next thing we want to do is change the permissions on that key. And that's the command for that. Obviously, all of these will be in the description for the YouTube video. All right, so we're done with that. And we can continue with our setup. So we have specified our key pair, and the next thing we want to do is we want to change our inbound rules just to make it safer. We don't want our SSH to be accessible from anywhere. We want it only with your IP, and we need to add a custom rule for port 8443 and your IP as well. And we are going to configure storage at 150 gigs. And then we are good to go. Launch instance. Now, if you get this error, you're going to go to service quotas and then Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. And then we are going to have to search for the correct one. And that is going to be running on demand G and VT. Yeah, there we go. And then you're going to put that down to 8. Request history, I have requested for 8, and it is pending. This can take a few hours. Okay, so I've let a little bit of time pass, and let's see what's happened to this quota increase request. Case closed. All right. So if we go and look at my services, and what was it? Elastic Cloud Compute. And it was running on demand. Yes, there we go. Running on demand G and VT instances. I've got 8. All right, so I should be able to go. Okay, this is obviously timed out. Oh, wait, sorry. And retry failed tasks. Okay. Okay, there we go. It has launched. All right, and let us go connect. SSH in there. Okay, so let us copy that SSH. Just have one quick little look here. And yes, we do have a public IPv4 address, which I don't know if I'd set up, but if you are not showing that, then you'll have to just set it up to always include a public address, but I do have it. And we see here, the only thing I'm going to have to do is, well, I'll show you. I'm going to get an error here, and I think it's just because the path to my PEM file is not complete. Okay. Great. Okay, so we're now in our machine. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't actually prepared anything. I'm going to walk through it so we can kind of see the problems along the way, and I'll make sort of a running list of each of the commands we're going to run. So what I'm going to do on my side is I'm going to go to the page that gives us instructions on how to set up Amazon DCV. Okay, so here we go, and I will put this in the notes for the video. Amazon DCV, you can read what it's about, but basically what we want to do is we want to set up the server. So step 1, install the Amazon DCV server, and here we're going to choose on Linux and prerequisites. So let us start right at the top. So the first thing we need to do is installing our desktop environment and manager. So we're going to go down, and we are using Ubuntu. So the first thing we want to do is, let's close this down. So we want Ubuntu. Okay, so first thing. Okay. And install the desktop. Okay, that's finished now. It did take about 15 minutes. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, that's nice and quick. All right, let's verify that GDM3 is set as the default desktop manager. And yes, we are getting exactly what we're expecting there. Okay. Upgrade. And lastly, reboot. And we will see when that happens. We've now lost our SSH connection. Let's SSH in again. Okay, and we are back in. Okay, so now that we are back in, we need to disable the Wayland protocol. Okay, for GDM3 only, but we are using GDM3. So yeah, we're going to do that. I'm just going to use nano, so sudo nano, put that in. And Wayland, okay, so we need to, I'm used to using Vim. All right, and then, okay, now to configure the X server. Okay, so it returns graphical target, which means it's already configured to start automatically. And we need to start the X server. And let's verify that it's running. And yes, it is. And next, install glx info utility and select Ubuntu. Okay, and lastly, well, not lastly, or near the end, verify OpenGL software is rendering. Okay, let's check. Okay, I found what I did wrong. So basically, I missed the step here, restarting the GDM service. I needed to actually run this, which is here. I have done it, and we can see, because when I wanted to see what was running, it was the Wayland, and we were disabling that, but it obviously hadn't taken effect because I hadn't restarted GDM3. Okay. Yes, okay, so now we don't have Wayland running, which is fine, but this is the part we got a problem with finally. So let's see if this works now. Yes, okay, and that's pretty much what we're expecting to see. Now the next step is installing and configuring NVIDIA drivers. That's already been done because we used an NVIDIA AMI, but the one thing we do need to do is generate the updated XOR conf file. So we would just run that. I had recording problems the first time, so I've already done that. So that command, and it's written to that file, and I've put it down there. And let's restart the X server for the changes to take effect. And the second one as well. And then let's check that the X server is running. Yeah, and everything looks in order. And everything below this is not appropriate to our installation right now. There's no AMD drivers, and we're not going to do the XDummy driver for non-GPU instances. Okay, we can move on to the next step. So now we've installed the prerequisites. Now we need to install the server, the actual DCV server. And let's go ahead and find Ubuntu. There we go. Okay, so let's start over there. And we are using Ubuntu 22.04. Let's just double check. 22.04, that's right. And extract the contents. And we're going to do that from the x86. Install the server. Okay, step 6, optional. We do want to install this because we would like the ability to be able to access our desktop via a browser. So let's go and install that for x86 22.04. Add DCV user to the video group. And step 8, optional. I don't think I'm planning to use virtual sessions for now, so we'll just use the main desktop session, and we are not doing GPU sharing. So let us see what's next. Let's perform post-installation checks. Okay, so we want to make sure that it is reachable on port 8443, and we've already opened up port 8443 on our inbound rules. And let's see now, verify DCV server can access the X server. Okay, so I'm not getting that as a result. Let us run these two. And that one. And then let's rerun that original command. There we go. And virtual sessions, we're going to skip that. And lastly, verify the DCV GL is properly installed. Okay, so I couldn't get this line to work, but I think we're okay to move on from that. I think everything seems to be working. Okay, so the next line we have to do is this create session, and it's a my console session, and we need to do that with sudo. So let's just copy that here into our list. Okay, and I've already done that. And then what you need to do is you need to list the sessions. And you see if we list sessions, we get that my console session, and we should be ready to connect now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our IP address and copy that. Okay, and this is normal. You will get this message, but don't worry, since you have limited inbound traffic only to your IP, it's fine to go ahead. So let's just expand this fully now and say advanced and proceed. And there's our DCV login. Our password, our username will be Ubuntu. and we will need to set a password for that particular user. So let's just go back in there, and we're going to put in a password, and now go and enter in that same password here, and we're getting signed in, and we will see a second login screen, and we're going to put in the same password, and let's allow clipboard access, and let's put in the same password. And now we have access to our Ubuntu desktop. Okay, so I've opened up Firefox and I've taken us to the ASICSIM documentation, and I've gone to installation and workstation installation. I did try cloud deployment and container installation and getting the live stream clients to work, but I didn't have any luck with that. So let's just do the workstation installation, and what we're going to do is we're going to download the latest release here. And actually, let's do this compatibility checker first. So let's download the ASICSIM Linux version of that. And you can see I've clicked through to the system requirements, and under system requirements, when you get there, you can go to ASICSIM compatibility checker. And I have downloaded that down to my downloads folder, and I've extracted it here. And I've also navigated into that folder, and I'm going to run this command, which is what it tells you to run the one for Linux, and there we go. Okay, I think the problem is I'm missing a / there, and we can see we are pretty much good to go, and it says system checking result passed. Okay, so let's go ahead and download ASICSIM itself. So ASICSIM Linux. Okay, now that our file's downloaded, let's do line by line. And my clipboard doesn't seem to be working properly, so I'm just going to right-click copy, right-click paste. Actually, I already created that folder. All right, so moving to the next one. Copy, paste, copy, paste. And that's going to extract everything out, and the extraction is finished. So let's go ahead and navigate into the correct directory, and let's do the installation. And now that that's done, let's see if we can get everything to open up. There's the app selector and ASICSIM full. We can leave everything as default and start. Now, one thing you'll notice here is ASICSIM, the first time it starts, going to take 10 to 15 minutes perhaps doing all the setup, and you're going to see this ASICSIM is not responding. You can just leave it like this. Do not click force quit. You can either click wait or just leave it. It is going to be kind of unresponsive for a good 10 to 15 minutes. And then once this stops showing and you can actually click onto one of the nodes here, then we know it's good to go. And we can see now we have the message ASICSIM full app is loaded. And if we go back into the UI, we can see now it is responsive, and we can click on each of the nodes and we can start working with it. One thing I will suggest is that because this new version is detected, I would suggest you just install that quickly. So click on that, OK, and then click OK. And it's asking you to restart and exit. Don't save. And then we're just going to rerun that script. And you'll see this time it'll load up a lot quicker. ASICSIM full, start. And you can see now it's reloaded. This time it did it for me in about 30 seconds, whereas the first time was over 10 minutes. And that warning here of a new version being available is not there anymore. And now you can interact with ASICSIM. Just one thing to remind you is don't forget to turn off your instance. So when you go back in here, go to instances and you are going to want to do instance state and stop instance, because as long as it's running, you are being billed per hour for this instance running. So just don't forget that. If you leave it over a weekend, you could be sitting with quite a big bill. Okay, we have isaacsim running on an EC2. This is super cool. So now we can go ahead and learn isaacsim. I'm planning to spend several hours each day over the next few weeks learning isaacsim. If you would like to join me on this journey, I'm going to try and release one video each day with what I've learned. Super excited to do this journey. And yeah, if you want to follow along, please go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.